What's up, everybody? Andrew Mahone here with Tricky Jim at Full Grip Games. Going to be playing a game on PTCGO today, and today I've got Ignacio Miramon's third place deck from the Argentina special event. Had over 50 players at it, and Ignacio finished in third place with his Alolan Exeggutor deck. Very exciting list. It plays Custom Catcher, which is a card we don't see a lot of in standard format as well, so should be pretty dope. It's got a couple copies of Let Loose Marshadow in it. Alolan Exeggutor, it's got 160 hit points, so a huge amount of hit points for a non-GX Pokemon. And with Tropical Shake, you can hit 120 damage once you get 5 different types of energy in your discard pile. Easy to accomplish with the Shuckle. It's got that squeeze ability or something like that, which allows you to discard energy from your deck. So very cool deck we've got on our hands here. We should do pretty good against Zapdos decks, considering that, Fresh Squeeze, the ability that I was talking about. Unfortunately, I don't really want to start any of these, but I will start the Marshadow, and we've got a Lily hand, so I can't complain. This is a pretty good start here, and going first means that we are going to be able to attack on turn 2, which is great for this deck also. We should do pretty decent against Zapdos decks, as I was saying, because Zapdos has a hard time dealing with Alolan Exeggutor's beefy 160 hit points. In fact, quite a few decks have a tough time dealing with that much hit points. So we're going to go ahead and start off by getting ourselves an Exeggcute here. We do play the Multiply Exeggcute so that we could go get other eggs if we feel so inclined. And then I'm thinking that we are just going to Ultra Ball away the Cynthia and the Grass Energy to go get myself another egg, and we'll Lily for 7 after we do this Shuckle play. So we're going to do that too. We do play Energy Recycle System as well in the list so that we can get that Grass Energy back if we want to later from the discard pile. And we'll just discard a bunch of different types here, none of which are grass. Very good. Fresh Squeezed, getting it going, and then Lily for 7. If I draw into another Marshadow, I could let loose my opponent on the first turn of the game. I'm just going to attach this though, and then I'm not going to worry about going all in. We got set up 2 eggs, Marshadow in the active. This appears to be a Quag-Nag deck, so I don't think that they are going to be attacking on the first turn of the game. Viridian Forest is huge for me. That is going to help get some more different types of energy into the discard pile. I love that. I also am interested to see how these custom catchers end up playing in this list. The only list that I've ever played custom catcher in previously was Night March in expanded format, which made sense to me since you could burn through your deck and really limit your hand size so that you could either play the 2 custom catchers for a catcher effect or just fill your hand to 3, and both were valuable. Let's go here. We got Alolan Exeggutor there for the evolution. Then I can Viridian Forest. And I'm going to Viridian away probably this Ultra Ball because I don't really feel like playing the Ultra Ball just to get the Psychic Energy. And I'm going to retreat the Psychic Energy off of my active Marshadow there and just Cynthia to draw 6 new cards. And we should have 5 different types of energy by now in my discard pile. 1, 2, well, 4. Okay, that's fine. 5 after the retreat. So we'll be using Tropical Shake for 120 damage here. On turn 2, we've got Custom Catcher and Mysterious Treasure. I could let loose my opponent, but they don't really seem to be doing all too much. So we'll just go in and give it the good old shake. Then I can use this Custom Catcher to draw cards if I want to after I Ultra Ball or Mysterious Treasure next turn. Mysterious Treasure also a target for our Dragon type Alolan Exeggutor, which we run in this deck as well. So that's very cool. It can get your Marshadow or your Alolan Exeggutor, and I love that flexibility with this card in the list, helping to promote the overall consistency of the deck. And then also 2 copies of Let Loose Marshadow in the list is another stellar inclusion that I really love here also. Alolan Exeggutor was a deck that was getting a lot of hype heading into the beginning of the season. I mean, I remember this guy was costing like $5 or $6 a piece at one point, but now it's kind of a defunct, tier 3 or so standard deck that we haven't really seen a lot of lately. But If this list is built correctly, it could be a force to be reckoned with in standard format. One of my major concerns is against Zoroark decks, you might have a hard time because they can just set up Muck, and then your Mr. Mime with the heal block ability is not going to be able to do much of anything for you, since the Alolan Muck will just kind of shut that ability down, and Zoroark decks should just be able to heal themselves over and over again, while Tropical Shake fails to really take any significant knockouts. So let's see here. My opponent still not doing anything. That's fantastic. I can just easily go in here, maybe Ultra Ball these away. I don't really need them. Get myself another Alolan Exeggutor, and then I'll just start attaching more energy, maybe Custom Catcher, draw some more cards, establish my board a little bit more. We're most definitely not going to be using the Let Loose Marshadow here, since, yeah, we'll Custom Catcher to draw one, sure, and then I can Lillie, fantastic. Because my opponent has a 0 card hand, so really no point in that. We'll get ourselves another egg, and the deck just seems to be setting up very well. We could get, the fresh squeezed Shuckles with those nest balls also, so that's really nice. Lots of ball search cards in this deck, and just lots of consistency options. The deck is doing exactly what it sets out to do, which is just get a turn 2 Tropical Shake and continue just bludgeoning the opponent turn after turn with 160 hit point Alolan Exeggutors. Looks like we also play Professor Kukui in the list, which could help fix up some math on our Alolan eggs. With Choice Band, you can hit 150 damage with Tropical Shake. Shrine of Punishment can raise that to 160. And then with Kukui, you can hit 180 damage, theoretically, in one turn with Shrine, Kukui, Choice Band, and 5 different types of energy in the discard pile. Unfortunately for Alolan Exeggutor, you do max out at 120 damage. You can't do more than that. As much as you would like to have more bonus damage for different types of energy in the discard pile, it's just not really the way the card works. Looks like my opponent, Riku, may finally be getting an attack going here, maybe with Quagsire or Naganadel, but at this point, they are too far behind in the trade to really be able to keep up. Wishful Batons, Quagsires, don't really care. They're not even hitting 160 damage. We see how tough it is to really take down this gigantic derp tree, right? Yeah, no, not very easy. I'll Mysterious Treasure away the Mysterious Treasure and just see what we got in here. We got ourselves another Alolan Exeggutor. I'm just going to get that guy out into play. Also attacks for grass energy, so that's very good. And then we don't really have any sort of healing cards or anything like that, so that's all good. I'm just going to continue drawing cards. I like having Kukui just in case I need to knock out that Naganadel eventually, so I'll keep it in my hand and just Tropical Shake again. For weakness, we're hitting 240 damage, plenty of damage to knock out that Quagsire. I do have to be a little bit wary, I guess, if my opponent does play the Magikarp Wailord GX. They could use Towering Splash, but I would be very excited if my opponent used Magikarp Wailord in this matchup. Be a free 3 prizes. Not very difficult for me to knock out whatsoever. They do have a judge, though, so they're going to shuffle my hand in, and I'll get 4 new cards, but Erika's Hospitality, great draw card in this format. I love it for that mid to late game explosive draw. It feels a lot like Colress in my opinion. I played 2 Erika's Hospitality in my top 8 Pika Pads list from the Denver Regional Championships, and it just allows you to have those turns where you go from 4 cards in hand to 10 cards in hand in the middle of the game, which is really explosive and can cause some huge swing turns as well. My opponent looks like they're playing the Aqua Patch version of this deck. My good friend Andrew Wambo plays Beast Ring in his, but I've seen some lists play Aqua Patch, some lists play Beast Ring. I think both are valid options. Both are situational cards. Somehow my opponent is just continuously playing their entire hand down to exactly 0 cards, though. Fortunately, they do have that Jirachi in the escape board to help get themselves a little bit more going on. I am going to save my Alolan Exeggutor just in case, or save my grass Alolan Exeggutor, just in case my opponent does play something funky like a Magikarp Wailord GX that I end up having to KO in one hit. That is probably good. Sure. So I'll just Erika's Hospitality for draw of 5. That seems fantastic. And I guess I should probably try to find a Rescue Stretcher or something like that. I haven't quite seen one yet. We're actually out of eggs. So there are 2 Rescue Stretchers in that deck. Just still haven't seen them, unfortunately. I'll just grab the Shuckle to thin it out of my deck and put into my hand. And then no point in let loosing my opponent since their hand is actually smaller than mine. And we'll just Tropical Shake for 120 damage and a knockout. This next turn, they are still so far behind. There's not really much that they're going to be able to do. They aren't going to be able to attack with Naganado. They're pressured to get another Quagsire into play. This is one of my major issues with the whole Nag-Quag deck. It is just a lot of moving pieces, and it's very hard to get all of your moving pieces to cooperate in a blazing fast format where we got Zapdos taking knockouts as early as turn 1, Pikarom taking double knockouts as early as turn 2 or 3. It is just a lot of stuff going on in this format, and having a deck that wants multiple different stage 1s in play while also having energy in the discard pile and then also in play is just very difficult to get all of that moving while also finding the attacker that you want for turn. And more often than not, we end up just seeing the deck kind of flail around, maybe get that explosive Magikarp and Wailord GX eventually. Some games it just does not happen every single game. Fortunately for the Alolan Eggs deck, it does seem to be setting up very consistently, though. We'll roll it one more time and see what we can do here. Looks like I'm playing against Fabian 45. All right, Fabian, let's see what we got here. See what you got for our Alolan Egg deck. It looks like this might be a Zapdos list we are playing against, and I would like to see how Alolan Eggs functions against Zapdos, though we do see a Tapu Bulu deck box over there. Who knows what that means? Would love to start, an Alolan Egg. That would be good, but not Alolan Egg, I guess regular Egg. But, it is what it is. We can Energy Drink, which is an interesting option turn 1 since we are going second. But I will probably end up attaching the grass, and I don't know. If we end up energy drinking, we end up energy drinking. We'll see. Probably not, though. I don't imagine that this is a often used attack in this deck, getting energy from your discard pile and putting them on your Pokemon. Though it is a pretty cool thing to do, because you can fresh squeeze, right, and then energy drink the energy onto your Pokemon from the discard pile that you just put there with fresh squeezed. Very, very cool synergy that we've got there. Looks like this is a more GX heavy lightning deck, maybe a lightning toolbox deck, and judging by the Jirachis and the switches, probably plays cards like Pikachu and Zekrom Tag Team GX, as well as Jirachi, and we probably also got Jolteon here. Though it looks like Fabian did decide to discard Tapu Koko and Zeraora there right off rip before the Lillie. So that is pretty interesting. I do imagine that they play multiple copies of Zeraora, so it's not all a loss, but you don't usually see Zeraora hitting the discard pile there on the first turn of the game. That's usually a Pokemon that you want to just slap onto your bench if you're playing a big, hefty, Lightning GX-focused deck, since it does give your Pikachu and Zekrom Tag Team GX's free retreat. Looks like my opponent's going to grab Escape Rope there, and they've got just a big old hand there with a Jolteon. So I'm going to see if I can't disrupt that in some sort of way. I do need to find an egg off of this, and we barely get there. Okay, so hoping that my opponent does not have Guzma would be good. I do have a Shuckle to fresh squeeze, but unfortunately, it's looking like that I might just be dead drawing here for the foreseeable future. So this is no bueno for sure. I guess I will just go probably discard these. I've already got the grass in my hand, so we'll just do those. And then there's no reason to use energy drink, so I'm just going to sit here in the active position, looking pretty with my Shuckle. Yeah, look at him. Wow. So cute. Very nice. Unfortunately, yes, the standard format that we exist in right now is very fast and aggressive, and I think that there's probably no way I'm going to be able to deal with this Jolteon breathing down my neck turn 2. And with Jirachi in the active, I would definitely wager that they have an option to Guzma my only Exeggcute. I do have Rescue Stretcher, which would be pretty cool. I could bring that egg back if I need to, but by that time my opponent will have taken 2 prizes before I even get to announce an attack. So I'm thinking that this game is probably a goner. Oh yeah, and they're sniping my other Shuckle, so unless we like top deck something miraculous, this is going downhill very quickly. So that is sad. These are the weaknesses of the egg deck. Unfortunately, our eggs only have 40 hit points, though our Exeggutor, a miraculous and wonderful 160 hit points. Egg, only 40, very easy to KO. Shuckle, also very easy to KO. So even if we were playing against a straight Zapdos deck, they could probably prey on smaller Pokemon like eggs, like Shuckles, while we try to set up, and then eventually take down larger Alolan Exeggutors with bigger Pokemon like Jolteon GX or Tapu Koko GX. Tapu Koko GX can knock out Alolan Exeggutor with just 1 Electro Power, so that is a thing. Okay, fortunately here, I guess I can Rescue Stretcher, right? Get an egg back, and then we can multiply. So that's interesting. I think I will probably retreat, and then I will just attach here and Guzma up the Zapdos. And we're just going to hope that we can hang on here for dear life, multiply, go get another egg. That's what we got. I don't have a backup plan. Got no other game plans here. So hopefully this buffs out and I top deck a supporter and my opponent does not attack. That's what we are looking at here. 4 energy in the discard pile. I'm doing 100 damage. Not even enough to knock out the Zapdos next turn. But, you know, maybe I can Guzma something if I were to somehow find a free retreater, or maybe a top deck of grass energy, and then I could attach here and Guzma. Escape rope, it's fine. I got to promote this Shuckle here because if I don't, my opponent could potentially go Electro Power and take a double knockout with the Jolteon's Electro Bullet Snipe. So we have to just throw this one out there and hope that they don't Guzma Electro Bullet and take 2 prizes. If they do that, I mean, the game is definitely over. I'd say it's probably been over since turn 1 or turn 2, but it's cool. We're staying the course, and we're going to try and fight back and see if there's not anything that we can maybe establish, if we can get a couple of big Alolan egg trees into play. Opponent finds Ultra Ball. They're going to be searching for a Pokemon here off of the Stellar Wish. I'm not exactly sure who they need right now. They've got plenty of stuff going on, though. I'm sure they would like to get another lightning energy into play if they have it. They've got Lillie, so they're just going to thin the hand down and then draw 4 cards and hopefully find themselves a lightning energy there. Got one on Zapdos, so that's their energy attachment for turn. They're looking pretty good. Fortunately, they did not Guzma, though, so we are cool, and our eggs are going to live through the turn. And I expect my opponent to, use Electro Bullet and maybe snipe my egg with the energy. Yup, making it a little easier for Zapdos to KO in return. So, that's fine. I think I want to just, if we hit into the Jolteon, that feels kind of bad. I think I just need to take a prize, to be honest. So I'm going to evolve my dude here, and we've got Marshadow. Let's go. I'm going to Guzma up my opponent's, Jirachi there with the escape board. It's cool, and just let loose us both the 4 cards. So that's like a pretty decent turn for me. I'm going to be knocking out the Jirachi, getting myself on the board, taking a prize, so that's good. I can attach my grass energy here, though. You know, if they Guzma my egg, I'm not really going to love that. And I do already have a grass energy in the discard pile, so something to think about for sure. I think I'm just going to put that there. No need to custom catcher. We're just going to Tropical Shake. Maybe I get to custom catcher next turn with double custom catcher if I draw into a decent hand off of Lillie. but we will see. I do want to find Shrine as quickly as I can because we need to start ticking away at this Jolteon GX. I don't actually want to hit into it because I want to one-hit KO it. That is a little bit greedy, but I want to get a Shrine drawn so that I can tick away at its health and then maybe hit for 150 damage once it's taken a few turns of Shrine damage. Maybe that's wishful thinking, but I'm thinking that that is probably my only route to being able to compete in this game. Hoping that my opponent does not find Escape Rope or Guzma. Both of those cards would be bad for me, allowing my opponent to get around this 130 hit point remaining Alolan Egg in the active. We definitely want them to have to use an Electro Power to get through this. Looks like they are grabbing Electro Power, and this could get very difficult for them to deal with. They already have one Electro Power down. If they take out this Alolan Exeggutor with Jolteon, and that means they're putting a GX Pokemon in the active position, which is fine. I can hit into it. If you take it out with Zapdos, that means they have to double Electro Power to knock it out. And then next turn, we're looking to attack with a clean Alolan Exeggutor, which will be even more difficult for my opponent to knock out. So every turn, it's going to get progressively harder and harder for my opponent to take the 160 hit point prizes. But that being said, I do have Shuckle and Marshadow on my bench, like I said previously, which are both easy pickings for a Lightning deck. So in reality, they only have to knock out maybe one more Alolan Exeggutor and then take, in addition to this one, then take both of these, and they should be able to square away this game. And then I also just need some good rips off of this Lillie. So they are going to be using potentially Swift Run GX. I think if they use Swift Run GX this turn, it's just over. I'm going to have to hit my custom catcher as well as an Alolan Exeggutor. Looks like that's what they've got, so I'm really hoping to just draw here off of this. That would be phenomenal. I need a lot going on now. I guess I could have retreated the... We're fine. Okay, I was going to say I could have retreated the Marshadow, but I'm actually glad that I didn't here. We've got a perfect top deck, so I'm going to be getting my Exeggutor into play. Then I need to hit a custom catcher off of my Lillie for 6 in order to get around this Jolteon. Sure enough, we've got everything we could possibly want. How insane is that? Okay, so I'm just going to custom catcher the Jirachi, I think, and hope that my opponent can't take a knockout. I want to save the Choice Band too. Let's just go double custom catcher, bring up the Jirachi, and we're just going to KO this thing. I don't think it's worth it to knock out the Zapdos, and hopefully my opponent doesn't have everything they need to knock out this Exeggutor here. The Jolteon will take a couple ticks of Shrine damage, and then we do have Choice Band to give us 150 damage swing into the Jolteon eventually. I do expect them to kind of poke my Alolan Exeggutor with the Zapdos this turn, though, which will leave the Jolteon on the bench, but every turn that the Jolteon's on the bench and my opponent doesn't counter Shrine, we are going to be making it easier and easier to knock out. Unfortunately, it looks like my opponent is just going to be knocking me out with the Tapu Koko. So that's like horrible, actually. And I don't have a backup egg. So I think that's going to be game, folks. And that is really unfortunate. I got everything that I could have possibly wanted last turn, except for the backup egg, which I got off of the prizes. But it's just, it's going to be really hard to come back from this. So I'm going to promote this. My opponent is going to knock that out guaranteed, though they will take a couple ticks of Shrine here. So we're going to hope that maybe this is going to be enough. I also need a backup egg off of the Cynthia TEU, which we do have, actually. I can just Rescue Stretcher for a second egg and get that onto the bench also. But at this point, probably too little, too late. So let's just see here. We're going to attach, I guess, to our egg with the Choice Band on it. Let these guys take a couple ticks of Shrine. The Shuckle will go down. I'll go up with Alolan Exeggutor and take 2 prizes. And then we hope that my opponent doesn't knock out my anything the following turn. Granted, they don't have Jirachi in play right now. I guess they could go get it with this Nest Ball, but they also don't have a way to retreat for free either. So they could potentially get stuck. 24 cards left in deck. They have a pretty sizable deck left. But with their win condition just being a Guzma for next turn, I'm not feeling good about this game at all. I think even like an escape rope will probably win them the game as well. We just got off to a really, really rocky start. I think in a ideal world, though, we could potentially beat this deck if we just set up normally. If we set up decent at all and didn't just have these wonky starts, then we could definitely go toe-to-toe with this deck. We're seeing how easy it is to knock out these Pokemon GX with Tropical Shake. The custom catchers did come into effect as well. It looks like actually my opponent's just going to retreat in Zapdos. They don't want to give me the 2 prizes. I think that's smart. They're going to make it even easier for them to take game next turn, so long as they have a Guzma counter my Shrine so that their guys stop taking damage. Just a lot of bad beats here. They only have 1 prize remaining. Definitely not what we want, but it's all good. A Nest Ball, get myself another Grass Energy out of the deck, and ideally we want to just evolve up, I guess, all these things. I should have, maybe we could have failed that. Doesn't matter, I don't think. We got 3 Grass Energy in the discard pile, so that's kind of tough. Sure, we'll go here and then here. And then Lillie for 5. I don't really want to shuffle the energy back into the deck right now, so we'll just Lillie for 5 and see what we got. I got Guzma. I could get a Let Loose potentially. It just doesn't really matter, I don't think. But I can evolve up my... I guess I could evolve up my other egg. It's game anyway if they have Guzma. So we're just going to go ahead and take our knockout and see what my opponent has. Let loosing them. They got a 4-card hand now. Let loosing them to 4 next turn doesn't really seem like it will be that influential on the game state. All in all, they're promoting Jolteon, so I think they probably just have it, because otherwise they would have promoted Jirachi looking for it. So they've got game. A close one nonetheless, but it's all good. We got to show off Alolan Exeggutor, and hey, we even beat a Quag-Nag with it, so definitely a cool deck. Don't forget about Alolan Exeggutor. Ignacio surely has not. Very cool list, and shout out to Ignacio for finishing 3rd at the Argentina special event with a very unique deck. Thank you all so much for watching the video. Make sure to like the video, sub to the channel, ring that bell. Check out all of the stuff in the description below as well. We are trading bulk for booster boxes on Full Grip Games. I've got brand new Patreon tier as well. We've got the Blastoise tier. Shout out to Sarah, my first and only Blastoise tier member on Patreon. Big shout out to all of my subs on Twitch as well. We just hit a brand new emote slot on Twitch. Make sure to check out my Twitch streams every single weekday on twitch.tv/TrickyJim. Thank you all for watching. Like the video, sub to the channel, ring that bell. Peace.